Welcome back to day 5 of me trying to not be trash at talking on YouTube. So, in the days past, I was just kind of talking about whatever. Moving forward, I want to start telling stories. I'm going to try to come up with the story throughout the day, and now I'm not going to think about it too much, but at the moment that I get here, I'm going to think of a story and tell it. So, here starts the story. Today I was getting off of work, and you know that normal feeling of just you get to go punch out, and you're done, you're out, you get to leave, and you're all excited. You go to your car or to the bus or to the train or whatever it means for you, and you go and get in and start going home. Well, it was normal today. I got out, I felt that feeling of relief. I got in my car and I started driving home. And I noticed there's a little bit of extra cars on the road, but it was nothing weird. I was kind of zenned out. One important piece that I need to tell you that makes this story make more sense is my car is a little screwy as far as it's old. It's 2012 and the AC doesn't work as good as it used to. It basically has 4 speeds for the air. The first speed does nothing, the third speed does nothing, but the fourth one, it's the only one, it blasts heavy and you can't hear anything. So I was sitting in my car. It was a little cold out, so I had the heat on, full blast, couldn't hear anything, and then I also turned the music on so that I could listen to something nice as I was driving home. It was very loud in my car. I was driving home and I was at a red light, and all of a sudden, I don't know if you know about the Northeast, but specifically in New York, if you don't start accelerating before the light turns green, people are pissed. They start honking, they start riding up on you. So the light had just turned green and I started accelerating, but it wasn't fast enough. So the person behind me lays on their horn. They're laying on the horn. I can hear it through the air, the music, and it's loud. I turn back, kind of frustrated, like, what the heck? It just turned green. So I start accelerating and we go. This person apparently is in a rush. They pull around to my right side and we are going down the road, and you know when someone honks at you and you kind of look over to see, like, who the heck is this person? What's their deal? What's up? I look over and they were doing the thing where they refuse to make eye contact because they know they honked at me, so they're looking straight ahead. They don't even turn to look at me. And we get to a light. I'm slowing down. I'm the front of the line and they're also the front, so we're right side by side. And I look over and this person is sitting in the front seat, driving, looking forward, not looking at me. And then all of a sudden I see a spoon come up. Like a spoon comes up out of their lap and goes into their mouth. No idea what's in the spoon, but at that moment, that person lost all intimidation and credibility. Their opinion no longer mattered whatsoever. They were just somebody who was eating something that required a spoon in the car. Like, who does that? So I was sitting there and I was feeling kind of nervous up until that moment. And then I realized this person just, who cares? They're the type of person that eats what I assume to be cereal in the front seat of their car while they're driving around. So I go on with my day. And the light turns green and we all start accelerating and moving forward to the next light, and this road is just filled with stops on stops on stops. And a couple minutes later, we've made it through a few lights and someone is now riding this right up behind this person in their car. They're basically in their back seat like this person was to me, and I was like, yes, the revenge. I felt so good about it. I felt like the universe had balanced itself in that moment. But they weren't fully paying attention to the light that was coming up. They were paying more attention to the car behind them. So they were coming in pretty quickly to the light and they didn't notice. And then it seemed like all of a sudden they had this sobering moment of reality. They snap to, they see the brake light in front of them. They slam on the brakes. And mind you, I had my AC on full blast, or my heat on full blast, couldn't hear anything. The music was super loud and all I heard was the most blood-curdling screech that I've ever heard on the road. I thought someone got in a wreck. I turned over, like, looked to see if, because it was a scream, but no actual sounds like metal smashing into each other. And the guy who had looked over and was basically honking at me, he was kind of like up in the air, his hands, his legs spread. I could almost see his knees up at the window. And at that moment, I realized this stupid person was riding on people's taillights, and he was eating soup. Soup went everywhere. I saw the window. There was little bits of potato, a little bit of chicken, like strands of chicken, just soup covered the inside of the car. This person was driving around with a hot bowl of soup sitting in between their legs as they were honking at people, riding up on them, and I lost it. I was laughing my butt off in the front seat of my car to the point where I forgot the light turned green and I got hit with horns all over again. But it was a really interesting story that I wanted to share today. Otherwise, today at work, while I was there, we actually normally the days go by pretty quickly and we have a lot to do in the mornings. I got in at 4 a.m. as I normally do. I know, early. And I walk in and I sit down and I'm waiting for the first thing to come in that I'm going to have to break down. I'm waiting and waiting. And then 4:30 comes by and I've just been basically doing nothing. Sitting down and waiting for more pallets to come in for me to be able to do work. And I was sitting there. It ended up being going until 5:30 that most of us were sitting there. A lot of people were starting to complain and get frustrated with the fact that the food hadn't made it in yet. And finally these pallets started coming in. All of us jumped up at the same time and made a mad dash to get this stuff done as quickly as possible. We were putting things away as fast as we could, and normally at Trader Joe's we check each individual item for the quality of the item, make sure it's not spoiled, make sure it's good, and some people would actually want to buy it. We did our best to get everything out, but it was a very crazy morning, and by the time it opened, there were boxes everywhere. There were customers walking around, literally like using their foot to kick things out of the way, and like we were trying to stack everything up, and I get the table together, and I get all the stuff on this table. It's basically a cart. It's got rolling wheels and a flat top so that we can put everything and move it around throughout the store. Put everything on top of this table and pulled it back into the back room. And people were out there just like with their hair set on fire, like trying to do things as fast as possible. There was like 5 people standing around in the back, like chilling. And I don't normally care, but I was like, oh, I'm such a moron. I could have been chilling this whole time, but instead I was working my butt off trying to stock these shelves, trying to make sure everything made it onto the table. It's really interesting, the perspective. I would like to think that people notice that kind of stuff, like the hard work that all of you guys put into whatever it is that you do at your jobs, or maybe you don't always, but I would like to think that people notice that hard work, but sometimes it definitely doesn't feel that way, and I wonder if all of you feel that way too. Let me know in the comments below, for those of you that are watching, if you're ever kind of working and you just feel like you're not seen or recognized for the hard work that you're putting in. Yeah. Regardless, we're starting to come in on time. I definitely ran out of stories to tell today. I was trying to draw specifically from today. I will try to maybe have an more eventful day tomorrow. Maybe I will try to think a little bit more about potential stories, because I really want to take up the whole 10 minutes if possible. Other than that, this has been a really great experience, and I don't want to keep talking about this transformation that I'm attempting to go through, although that might be the reason why you're watching. It's been really great taking the time to record each and every day. It's almost like a journal, if I had to say, but I really want to take this journal on a live thing on YouTube. I want to go on YouTube live. So if you've made it this far and you're still watching, thank you so much. I'm going to throw up my subscribe button right about here. if you could just subscribe and help me get to 50 subscribers, I really want to continue to build my skills and honestly make my content better for those of you that are watching now or those of you that are gonna eventually watch in the future. So check out that subscribe button. Thank you so much for your time, and I will see you tomorrow for day 6.